For the Sake of Peace. January 11, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. The founders of this universe are still here. They didn't die. They didn't leave. They continue to watch over us and care about us and our progress, much like human parents care about their children, but on a much grander scale and including all life as part of the one life of all that is. Their transit vehicles have been identified, but rarely seen here, as very large, very beautiful globe-shaped airships with lights in concentric circles. The original heavenly host included a dominant society in this galaxy that was a caste society, like the Hindu culture still is. There were scientist priests known as the all-seeing. There were soldiers known as the dragons. There were merchants known as the children of men. The dragons were a conquered race of reptilians that originated in the star system of Draco. Their ancestors rampaged across the galaxy approximately 2 million years ago, colonizing widely and diversifying as they went. When they came up against the all-seeing, the scientist priests of the Sirius B Morning Star system, they were steadily defeated and pushed back toward their home planets. Their warlike nature and physical strength and other attributes, however, made them ideal warriors. Right or wrong, the all-seeing bred captive populations of reptilians to fight against the original reptilian invaders in the same way that we breed dogs for special purposes. The greatest warriors of the reptilian races were thus conceived in captivity and trained and imbued with the wisdom of their all-seeing captors to become seraphs, angels. In this context, Satan, a seraph, can be seen as a rebel throw-back returning to his reptilian roots, however imbued with new knowledge and new capabilities. The children of men were the races of the Pleiades descended from their great ancestor, who was called men as a proper name. They formed powerful trade and market alliances with the all-seeing. All three castes were from substantially different backgrounds and races, with different biology, different sense organs, different capabilities, different values, different cultures, different histories. These very different castes could have sex and produce hybrid offspring, but the offspring were often sterile and suffered health and mental problems, so intermarriage between castes was generally discouraged for practical reasons. Here on Earth, hybrids were eventually engineered in an effort to preserve the unique genetic heritage of the all-seeing, and to tame and calm the reptilian war-loving nature. It was realized too late that breeding the reptilians to be super soldiers led inevitably to the pursuit of war, so the opposing effort was made to correct this and mainstream the reptilians by reverse genetic engineering. Homo sapiens today are a blend of all three of these elder races, plus some I haven't discussed. All Homo sapiens have a reptilian brain that controls their autonomous nervous system, tiny scales that cover their skin, and numerous other reptilian traits. The genetic traits of the all-seeing are far less common, but also widely distributed, with some individuals being throwbacks to this ancestor race, too. Once you become aware of this, it's easy to see, but until you become aware of it, you are ill-disposed to evaluate what's what and who's who. As the all-seeing dwindled in numbers and faded away, their diluted genetic content carried on by hybrid children the leadership and knowledge that once guided this planet steadily toward peace and nurturance faded away, too. Their absence left a vacuum of power and the predominantly reptilian scions stepped in to fill it, but the reptilians are ill-suited to peace. They are still too close to their original genetic code, and as a result, they create war and think as warriors, and delight in the spoils of war. They have not outgrown this predilection. You can see them wandering around the halls at the Pentagon and in bunkers from here to Timbuktu, and in the boardrooms of corporations planning the next marketing campaign, and in the agencies and in the political parties. Wherever there is conflict or danger, there the reptilians can be found, attracted like moths to flames. And if there is no conflict, they will start one for profit or out of pure boredom. It's not for me or anyone else to judge them. They are what they are, and it's not their fault that they are geared this way. It is however a fact, and until the rest of us wake up and stop electing reptilians to positions of political power, there won't be peace on Earth for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons, too, these people need to become self-aware. They need to step back and realize what they are doing and why they are doing it, so that they can consciously evaluate their impulses and motives and not just function on reptile brain. Once they are fully conscious and aware, they can stop following their genetic beaten path to destruction, and stop promoting war, and more war. They can find ways to make war against disease and poverty and pollution, and turn that basic reptilian impulse into something profoundly powerful and good. As for the rest of us, those who have a greater portion of heritage from the all-seeing and from the Pleiadians, we need to help the reptilians find outlets for their boundless energy and physical strength, and provide them with ways to fulfill their need to be active and competitive, without being destructive. There are those who think that the reptilians should be destroyed, simply wiped out as an evolutionary mistake. They think that reptilians will never learn to choose life or peace. They think that reptilians have served their purpose. They are tired of struggling with reptilians, and would just as soon see them written out of the book of life. Faced with the reptilian propensity for war and destruction, their violent history, their conflict-driven mentality, and the sheer cost of their mismanagement of resources on this planet, it's hard not to agree. But then the wisdom of our Father intercedes and reminds us that the turtles are reptiles, too, and they are among the wisest and most tolerant and most avid protectors of life. And the birds are the descendants of the reptiles. What would creation be like without them? And let's not lose sight of the fact that Homo sapiens all depend on a reptile brain to keep our hearts pumping and our eyes dilating and our lungs inhaling and exhaling. Our skin, the largest and in some ways the most important organ of our physical body, is also largely reptilian in origin. Just look at your skin under high magnification and you will see the scales of a reptile. As we wake up to our history and to a higher consciousness, and we begin to see with new eyes and hear with new ears, we will recognize reptilian combativeness and either-or thinking in ourselves as well. And we will pause and think about the many ways in which our reptile heritage has preserved us and protected us and made our lives and our species possible. Our reptilian heritage is not a matter of for us or against us. It's something we need to acknowledge and accept along with all the other gifts passed into us and to include in our conscious awareness of both its good and its potentially evil attributes at work within us. Please consider making a small donation to help support Anna von Reitz and the Living Law Firm, by visiting annavonreitz.com and click on the donate button. If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from my website wellnessrods.com. Thank you.